What's going on, everyone? So earlier today, the Los Angeles Lakers got news that Christian Koloko is back. He's officially been medically cleared. Shams reported earlier, Lakers 7-footer Christian Koloko has been medically cleared by the NBA's fitness to play panel. Sources tell ESPN Koloko will begin practicing with the Lakers this week and ramp up to play for the first time since April 2023 and a blood clot issue that threatened his career. So this is great, right? I mean, you always love to hear these comeback stories, right? Like, this is, for many players throughout the history of the league, have been kind of the end of their careers. And for him to kind of get a second life in the NBA is beautiful for Christian Koloko. And he's still an incredibly young player, right? Still plenty of room and upside. Christian Koloko, though, we need to keep in mind, was an upside development player back in 2023. Right? So a year and a half ago, when the last time he played, he was still a development guy. He's 24 now. He's still going to be a development guy, but he's a guy that can and will provide, in my opinion, kind of a bit of what the Lakers need. Now, I don't think that he's going to be a guy that's going to come in and he solves all of the Lakers' fate and all of their problems, and now the Lakers are the best team in the league. No, I still think you need to go get that other center, but Christian Koloko, he's a guy that I do think can come in, be kind of your third backup big. Eventually, I do believe that he can be your center of the future, or at worst, your backup center of the future. I do really like Christian Koloko, his athleticism, floor running, obviously his shot blocking. He's a guy that right now, based on kind of word that is coming out, is going to spend the next week in the G League with their training camp and stuff. And then I imagine he'll probably play about a week or so in the G League, get a handful of games under his belt in the G League before they bring him up and have him start playing and slotting in actual NBA games. So I do think we're not going to get to see Christian Koloko in an actual NBA game outside of like maybe garbage time, but real meaningful minutes. I don't think you're going to see Koloko for at least 2 weeks, if not maybe a month. So middle to late November, maybe early to middle December is when I could see us maybe seeing Christian Koloko get some run. I just don't want people to have this expectation of like, okay, he's cleared, let's go, that means he's playing. No, it's going to be a while before Christian Koloko actually sees the basketball court, and it's in the Lakers' best interest, right? This is a piece that they brought in on a two-way to be a piece that they can grow and develop for the future. He was incredibly promising, looked incredibly gifted with the Toronto Raptors. He was supposed to be their guy, right? He was supposed to be their center that they were going to develop for the long haul. And turns out that, things ended up going differently. And now he's got a second life with the Lakers. And now the Lakers have the potential to have Christian Koloko potentially be the center of the future for their franchise. But he's a guy that's probably going to take about 2 years or so to really develop. Maybe not. You never know, right? He's been working out. He's been doing his thing, right? Maybe he is able to come in and have an impact right away. But I just want calmed expectations going into the season. I still think he's probably going to spend most, if not the entire season, on a two-way deal and with the G League. You still have Christian Wood, who's supposed to return at some point, Jackson Hayes. If the Lakers do pull off a trade or something and end up unloading Jackson Hayes, then maybe Koloko comes in as your third big. I've talked about Koloko and how he, imagine Jackson Hayes, but if he could give you, 2-3 blocks a game, is basically what Christian Koloko provides. Now, he is a guy that has shown, at least in recent workout tapes, that he now has the ability to stretch the floor. He showed that he could do it a little bit before, but it was kind of like something where it's like, okay, this is going to need some development. He looked pretty crisp. Now, obviously, big difference between just standing in an open gym, taking shots, and doing in actual NBA games and NBA minutes. But the idea of Christian Koloko is everything the Lakers need. Right? He's a guy that come in, block shots, protect the rim, be a floor running big, give you different looks, put in different actions. If he can even just stretch the floor slightly, that would be huge. Right? If he could just come in and give you any type of floor spacing, that would be fantastic. He's 7 feet, 230, 235. So he's not that big, huge, burly, just dominant, pushing everyone around type center, but he does have, again, good speed, good size. Another guy that I really think Christian Koloko can be for the Lakers, and I don't think it's even as far-fetched to say that he could be that this year for the Lakers, right? Obviously, again, depends on what happens with Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, what the Lakers do on the trade market, right? So there's still some factors. I would still, like Christian Wood, I would still think is the closest thing that we have right now to an Anthony Davis off the bench. Obviously, he's not Anthony Davis in the sense of like star level talent, but in the type of offensive actions that you can run with Christian Wood. So when Anthony Davis goes to the bench, having a guy in Christian Wood that you can, run the pick and roll, run the pick and pop. You can have him be in various places on the court, not just have to be a roll man, right? Or not just be a slip guy, right? Like you can have him pretty much wherever you want on the basketball court, just like Anthony Davis. Obviously, he's not the defensive player and stuff like that Anthony Davis is, and he's smaller. He's 6'8" rather than, 6'11", 67 feet. But I do think Christian Wood, on most nights, again, you're talking about backups. I think on most nights you can get away with Christian Wood. But the best comparison that I like for Christian Koloko is Dereck Lively. And they are incredibly similar, right? As far as size, stature, the type of style that they play. Dereck Lively is listed at 7'1", 230. Christian Koloko is listed at 7 feet, 230. So they the exact same size, right? Dereck Lively's got an inch on Koloko, but weight, all of that. But what you see with Dereck Lively, his ability to defend at the rim, block shots, right? Have an impact on both sides of the basketball. But he's not a guy that you can just give the ball to and he's just going to work and cooking, right? He's a guy that, needs setup. He's running the floor. He's the lob threat. He's setting the screen for Luka and rolling to the rim hard, right? That's what I can see with Christian Koloko. I really like the Dereck Lively comparison, and it was the one that I've made in the past. I've made previously pretty heavily that, hey, you look at a guy like a Dereck Lively and the way that he's been able to really impact the Dallas Mavericks, right? And really be able to provide that team some rim protection as well as just hustle, grit, rebounding, right? There's a lot of things that he just gives to that team that that you really like, and you look at it and you go, man, like if we had a guy like a Dereck Lively, that could do so much for this roster. And so you look at a guy like a Christian Koloko, and you can see, again, the comparisons as far as size, stature-wise goes. But also, I think Christian Koloko is just a better natural shot blocker. So Dereck Lively is that piece for Dallas. I think Christian Koloko could be that piece for the Lakers, and you can run Koloko in a lot of the same ways that Dallas runs Dereck Lively. But I actually think that Koloko, if he can show that I'm not saying he has to be elite. I'm not even necessarily saying he has to shoot threes. But if he can show that he can knock down, say, the 15-foot, right, knock down the midi, if he can give me that, then that opens up an entire new type of schemes that you just don't get with Dereck Lively. So if Daniel Gafford and Dereck Lively and what they've been able to provide the Dallas Mavericks, if we can get something similar from a Christian Koloko and a Christian Wood, then I think that could be and potentially be huge for the Lakers. Now, Daniel Gafford also is like 6'10", 260, so maybe but you also look at Christian Wood, he's just much more versatile offensively. So there's trade-offs, right? I actually think that Koloko could be more versatile overall. I think Koloko has the potential to be a better Dereck Lively. Right? I think he has the potential to be much more versatile than Dereck Lively, but have a similar impact. Right? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Koloko, because it really comes down to our playmakers and the style of offense, right? Christian Koloko is a guy that you're not giving the ball to and just saying, hey, go make plays, go make something happen. No, what you're looking at for Koloko is he's running within the sets, he's running within the actions, and he's a setup guy. You need that playmaker, a D'Lo, a Reeves, a LeBron, whomever, that is constantly looking for Koloko. Koloko's that threat, right? Like, you look at guys like James Harden, Luka in particular, right? They love that rolling big man because it's kind of the bailout guy for them, right? Well, Koloko could be that for a Reeves, for a D'Lo, for a LeBron. If we end up pulling off a trade for somebody, whoever that is, you go get a Bruce Brown or something, right? Like, boom, there you go. I really do think Koloko could be a potential 8-8 guy. Give you 8-8 with like a block and a half, 2 blocks a game, depending on how many minutes. If I had to choose between, again, we have to see Koloko. We have to, I don't want to have too high of expectations. I don't want to jump the gun too much here. But in concept, and assuming Koloko can be what we've seen him be on Toronto, and I just think JJ Redick will do a better job of unlocking him and putting him in position to have success, I can see him being, like I said, 8-8, maybe a block and a half guy. I would actually play him over Jackson Hayes if he's healthy and he's good to go. But again, he's probably going to spend most of the time in the G League. I think he'll be, more likely than not, it probably won't be till next season. I'm not saying he won't play any games this year. I think he will. But for him to be one of the backups, even your third big, I don't think you're going to see that until next season. I think when Hayes and everybody and all the, Hayes, Wood, and Reddish, when they fall off the books, I think Koloko will step in. They'll convert him to an actual roster spot. They'll sign him to a couple-year deal, and then he'll be ready to go. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? You excited for Christian Koloko? Do you think that he's going to be fantastic for the Lakers? Do you like the comparison with a Dereck Lively? Do you think, it's not a great comparison? Do you have another comparison that you like? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.